What's up, guys? Welcome back to Veteran Aquatics. My name is Dylan, and today we're going to talk about how to save money when buying an aquarium. So most people buy their aquariums from a pet store or Walmart, and they get the entire kit when they buy it. This is great, unless you're buying 15 tanks like I did. Alright? When you have this many tanks, buying tanks that way gets really expensive really fast. So we're going to talk about where I've gotten the tanks, what problems I've run into buying tanks that are not brand new, and what to look out for when looking at used tanks. Alright, before we do that though, guys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm getting a ton of views, which is awesome, but I really need the subscribers to come as well. Right, I'm really trying to get to 100 subscribers. If we can hit that milestone, that would be phenomenal. Right, I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch these videos, so let's go ahead and get started. So I have 15 tanks. I bought 2 tanks brand new. One was just a 5-gallon beta setup that I bought because I kind of just wanted a beta tank. And the other one is one of the 20 gallons behind me. Right? The rest of them I got used. Okay? So I've gotten them off Craigslist. I've gotten them off Facebook Marketplace. I've gotten them off Letgo. And I've had a friend give me a tank. Alright? So, like the 125s I have, I got 2 125s, a 55, and 2 canister filters for $325. Right? That's a steal because those tanks, even empty, brand new, cost somewhere around the $300 range. So those ones I got off Facebook Marketplace. I got them from a gentleman named Frank. He was an award-winning guppy breeder and cichlid breeder. He's getting elderly, so he's getting out of the hobby. He's very nice, very smart man, showed me his entire fish room. It was great. I wish I had the channel back then because you guys would have been blown away at just the sheer amount of fish he has. But those tanks are great. Barring the 55, they all hold water. Okay? So the 55, the seals on it, it's an older tank, so the seals on it are pretty ratty. So I've already scraped it. I haven't gotten around to resealing the tank yet. When I do, I'll make sure that I put a video up on how to reseal an aquarium, what to use when you're resealing it, this kind of silicone because you need a specific kind, and just kind of in general how to go about it. So when you're getting these tanks, a really important thing to do is check the seal on the aquarium, right? So if it's been sitting outside for any length of time, if it's an old tank, if it hasn't been filled up in quite a while, you're going to want to look at the silicone. But even if the silicone looks good, that doesn't mean that it holds water. So what I do is I take my fingernail and I see if I can slide it along the edge of the silicone going up the tank. If you can get your fingernail under the silicone on the tank, or you see noticeable chunks missing out, you're gonna need to reseal the tank. Alright, so way back when I learned this the hard way because the tank looked pretty good, it was clean and all that. The seals weren't so great, so I filled it up. A couple minutes later, I had water on my floor, right? Which brings me to my next point. When you're buying used tanks, make sure you fill the tank up outside first, alright? If you fill it up inside, it's really, really stressful trying to get the tank emptied again, clean the water up off your floor, and not ruin your girlfriend's carpet, right? So make sure that you're filling these tanks up outside, and don't just fill them up and be like, okay, they're good, and empty them. Make sure you leave it full for a little while, right? A couple of days at least. I would say 5 to 6 days. If after that you notice that there are no leaks, you haven't lost water due to a leaky seal, you're probably good. Next, make sure that it's an aquarium, okay? And I say that because sometimes people have terrariums, right, which are meant for reptiles. The glass on those is thinner. The silicone's not the same. It's not a good seal. And they will burst. Right? So if you get a 55-gallon terrarium and fill it with water, the tank itself is literally going to fail and explode. Right? One of the glass panels is going to give out. You're going to have glass, fish, and water all over the place. So make sure it's an aquarium, not a terrarium. Right? When you're looking at these tanks, make sure you check the corners, right, and all the sides for any cracks, any chips. Sometimes they have a sticker on the bottom, like if it's a 55, it'll be along the bottom crossbar, and it'll tell you when the tank was built. So if the tank was built, I would say like 8 or 10 years ago, you're going to want to reseal the tank, right? It's not that the seals are bad, but after 10 years, anything is degrading to a point where it's likely to fail at some point in the near future. All right, make sure you ask if they have resealed it themselves. Not that I don't trust anybody, but when it comes to my aquariums and the amount of water volume that I have, I can't afford to have tanks leaking and bursting on me. So if they tell me they've resealed it, I'm going to redo it myself, right? Because then I know that I did it well, I know that it was done correctly, I know that it's the right kind of silicone. So the silicone that you want to use when resealing an aquarium is going to be 100% silicone, no mold inhibitors, no chemical additives, right? It's just 100% pure silicone. You can get it in white, black, and I've seen it in brown, right? I'm a personal fan of the black. I think it looks really nice and really clean. But just bear that in mind if you're going to really reseal a tank, and like I said, I will make a video pretty shortly on how to reseal an aquarium. Right? Another thing you can do, guys, you don't have to pay asking price when somebody's selling a tank. Generally speaking, if they're selling a tank, they would like to have it gone. And this comes with pretty much anything that you buy used on Facebook Marketplace or anytime you have the opportunity to barter with somebody. Generally speaking, they're gonna set a price that's a little bit higher than what they're actually looking for, right? I know that's what I do. So if I want $150 for something, I'm gonna set it at $180. That way when they offer me $160, I got more than I wanted. They feel like they got a deal. I actually was the one that ended up getting what I wanted in the end. So if you see somebody that's got a 55 marked up to, I don't know, let's say $100 just for the tank, offer them $60, right? Because the general rule of thumb with used tanks is $1 per gallon up to 100 gallons. Barring that and going past that, you're probably going to pay a little bit more. I got really lucky with the 125s and got them for pretty much a steal, because you'll see an empty 125 for $200 plus, right? Just the tank. So remember that, $1 per gallon for used tanks. You don't want to pay more than that unless it's a really, really big tank. And again, check the seals, check for any cracks, scrapes, chunks missing out of the glass. Make sure it's an aquarium, not a terrarium. And remember that you can generally barter the price down. Alright, a lot of people aren't out there looking for used aquariums, so people will sometimes give you a little bit back and be like, no, I'm just going to hold on to it, I don't want to sell it for that price. But if you're asking, $125 for just an empty 55 tank, you're never going to sell the tank. So if you're selling tanks, remember the $1 per gallon rule. Add a little bit to it, so that way the person buying it can feel like they got a deal when they ask to pay you $20 less. Alright? So that's pretty much it for buying used tanks, guys. I've been pretty lucky. I've only had 2 that I've had to reseal. It's both those 55s. I've already scraped the silicone out of them. I just have to reseal them, let them dry, and then do the water test. One of them, though, I have to reseal the entire thing and take it apart, because somebody did reseal it and they did a very bad job, and the seals between the glass panels are literally rotting out of the tank. And it's not an old tank, so they just left it sit outside too long. Alright? That's it for today, guys. Hope everyone's having a phenomenal day. If you're not, let's hope it gets better. Alright? Once again, this is Dylan from Veteran Aquatics. Don't forget to subscribe, and have a great day.